Walter, what do you make of that? Basically, Deutsche Bank saying you won't get a super cycle, you get a refresh.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what we said last week in our note, and it was odd that people kept pushing this year as a super cycle. It's actually an off-cycle year, and there's been plenty of evidence from the operators over the past month or two that you weren't going to see this like 20 or 40% uptick in numbers like we saw back with the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus when it was first launched. So it really shouldn't be a surprise to the buy side or to investors in general that it's not a super cycle this late in the game.
Yeah, and you called it last week, like you said. You said Apple stock may take a hit in the near term, saying it may guide revenues for the March quarter to as low as $60 billion. Do you feel like that's priced in yet?
You know, the last couple of days have been certainly rough. A lot of people have been cutting numbers as far as the June quarter. The guidance is really the area of focus. So now we're in that kind of that gaming zone where, you know, are people so prepared for it? And then there's people that are long-term bullish that may want to wait and then come in to buy on any possible dip in the quarter. And that may mitigate some of the sell-off that could occur, you know, if they do guide to some of these lower numbers like guys like us have at 60 billion or even if it's down at 62 billion.
But you still have that buy rating and the price target of 198. So talk about then the longer-term potential. Where's the short-term weakness? Where's the opportunity?
I think that's just a trade versus own mentality in the context of, look, if the sell-side analysts have numbers that are 20, 30% growth, that's too high, and we recognize that it could create disappointment in the stock in the near term. But you know, if you have a company of this size growing top line double digits with that type of margin profile and the additional tailwind of tax cuts and how that can help earnings as well as share repurchase, I mean, this is a stock that should be much higher at the end of the year. It just has to digest numbers that got too aggressive based on how people were thinking this iPhone 10 was going to play out in terms of the March quarter. I think it's just a March quarter issue, frankly.